Good morning to everybody. Thanks for coming to the last lesson of the course on lean business and startup. Today you will present your projects. Today with us there is also Matteo Pessione, with the responsible here of the year. If you want to say a few words.
It was unexpected. Hello everyone, I'm Matteo Pessione, I'm the OGR Tech coordinator. I'm happy to be with you and very curious about the content and just to give you some information related to OGR Tech. But now we are unique at the Italy with more than 11 different projects related to innovation, acceleration, venture building, and supported to small and medium enterprise and scale-up. So for this reason, I'm curious to understand if some project is consistent with our activity or the activity of our partner. And good luck.
Thank you. So now, as you can imagine, due to the increasing COVID issues, even Stefano is not here. So you will present I will record the presentations and we will share with the companies here in the air your presentations. Okay. So I'm just suggesting one thing. If you can present from here and you can speak loud, just to let the microphone to record your voice. Okay. So let's start with the group. Okay.
I present here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Speak loud, just for the microphone, please.
So, good morning, everyone. I'm Gabriele Luzzani, and I will introduce what is Meta Museum. So, nowadays we are living in a world that is extremely changing in different kind of sectors, and for sure one of them is the sector of art. Here the stage is taken from the NFTs, that are the non-fungible tokens. These are a digital asset that represents a real object in the world, like for example pieces of art in games, items, videos, and so on, that are bought and sold exclusively online and frequently with cryptocurrency. And these assets are generally encoded with the same softwares underlying as many cryptos. This is a market that is growing faster and faster. In fact, we can see that since November 2017, more or less $174 million are spent on NFT transactions. And this market is growing with a CAGR of about 22% from 2022 to 2028 each year. Despite this market is full of opportunity to make money, it presents some problems and troubles that we can see in that is a monopolized market, that in fact there are a few number of artists that sold their piece of art at high prices, and it's very difficult for the unknown artists to sell their artworks. Then there is a lack of interaction between buyers and sellers, because this is a digital environment and this market was born digital, so it's lack of humanity. And this is why we have introduced the Meta Museum. Meta Museum, in fact, is a fully immersive digital art gallery where visitors and artists can meet together to experience the same excitement that we can experience in the most prestigious museum. And this digital environment is enriched by spot offline events where buyers and sellers can meet together. And now I leave the floor to Alberto to explain the business model.
Okay, so the NFT market in this time has many services that are very differentiated, and there isn't one that merge all of that of the needs of the NFT appartenance. So we want to make an online gallery that is free for everyone, NFT events and offline gallery offline gallery, I think that the OGR maybe can be with screens and some NFTs that they turn around. NFT events and offline gallery was for premium customers, so they pay for be in the NFT events and pay for the offline gallery. So the gallery was for merge the interest of artists and customers, so they can talk each other and meet. So actually, sorry, they don't talk because one buy an NFT on internet on OpenSea or any market. So there isn't an exchange between the artist and the customer. And why we want an offline gallery? Because we want to sell art in that offline gallery and take a transaction fee with the selling. Now I leave the word to my colleague Dario for the question.
Okay, so nowadays for improving business idea, and companies must take into account also problems related to different aspects, which are political, economic, social, and technological. So as we suggested by Professor Perboli, we decided to undertake an analysis on this test. So for the political aspect, we have the possibility to access government funds, because there are politicians that are basing their election campaign on this new and emerging field. And also an important aspect to take into account is the regulation of the sale and purchase of these technologies, and also the fact that they are taxable. So we need to consider all these aspects. For the economic, we need to understand that the raw material crisis that we are currently seeing now is important due to the lack of these materials, and also the problem of energy consumption that the NFT can perform. The social aspects are the most important, because we are seeing an increasing in the age target, because these NFT are mostly stored by young people. But with our ideas, we want to improve and enlarge the target age of this group, and the possibility of increasing the risk in investment on this digital aspect is high due to the higher population working and paying for these technologies. The problem of the technological problem are for sure the cybersecurity that must be considered when developing a metal museum, and also the development of the 3D rendering for making our virtual reality available on the platform. And now I will leave the floor to Luca.
Okay, now we see the ice diagram. Following the previous section, we identify as a major task the customer involvement through the development as a first action of the virtual platform in terms of a digital environment in which artists are able to expose their artworks, and of course investor or customer are able to communicate with the artist. We expected an initial investment about 200,000 euros. After the development, the second point is about a service quality in terms of the quality of the platform, to avoid the customer to have the better experience. After that, we consider the social engagement in terms of the elements that we have within this environment. So in terms of kind of artworks, so in terms of activities that led customer to communicate, to interplay themselves with the artist. And the last one is related to the affiliate marketing. After the customer involvement, the second level is about the competition. We know that there are competitors, of course, and to maintain our advantage, to defend from other competitor, we expected to invest more or less 25,000 euros per year to add the value to our services. After that, we considered the strategic partnership, for example, as Alberto said it before, strategic partnership with the museum or offline structures to create a major value, to create a kind of unique of the museum respect to other competitors. And the last one is related to the advertising. So in this case, we consider the advertising something that could be useful for us to reach a new consumer, especially not in Italy, but also outside our territory. Last but not least, the community creation. Of course, the community is important, but it's just our third step, because we believe very believe in a creation of communication. For example, think about Discord channels or Reddit channels, in which investor or artists can communicate. So in this case, for us, of course, is important, but is the third step that we identify in a degree of majority. And now I leave the floor to Emanuele.
Morning. I will talk about the solution canvas, which defines the solution considering the value chain, the actors involved, the costs, and the operative model. Starting from the constraints, we identified as the main constraint the implementation of the whole platform that is coupled by the research and deploy of cutting-edge solution in order to improve the user experience. And moreover, the platforms need times to consolidate a huge user community. And the decisions will be taken by the Meta Museum's team members and by the public or private organizations with which we'll collaborate. And moreover, the communication between the decision makers and the customers will be through social media, the online platform, as well as the on-site events. And the main costs that we identified are brought in by the R&D division, the advertising campaign, and also by the implementation costs. And to summarize, our objectives are to make crypto arts market fairer, more tangible, and closer to human perception. And that's all, and now I leave the floor to Alberto.
Okay, what we do here. So we made a business plan, entire business plan with financial statement and cash flow. We thought that we can have a positive EBITDA on the fourth year, in 2026, and reach 2 million EBITDA in the 2030. So 7 years of activity of this. What we ask to the public, we ask for investment of 500k euros, and we give an IRR of 25%. Any other competitors or suppliers are evaluated now 4 billion. So we thought that we can reach a very high valuation in 7 years because the market is well known. We are Emanuele, an informatic engineer, Dario, mechatronic engineer, Gabriele, an aerospace engineer, so we are very mixed. Me, Alberto Susco, I work in the corporate finance, and Luca Matteo is in marketing. Thank you. we are here for any questions. So we have also the
Some consideration because the topic is really interesting and really contemporary. But now, just to give you when we are working with the Serena Tabacchi, the director of MOCDA, the Museum of Contemporary Digital Art, is the first museum in digital art. We started in England, and I think that we should, first of all, get some information about how they are working. They started, I think, 4 or 5 years ago, before the NFT probably, but now they are starting to make something similar. They started as a pure digital. But now, as a GR, we are working with them for the first offline experience related to their presence in several different metaverses. Okay. And another suggestion is the Museo of Pesentations in Milano. They are starting all of them to work with Serena and MOCDA for the first EU project, because we are more in an experimental approach instead of Milano. And I think that now is really important to update and to try to understand what are main trends, what kind of metaverse are growing, because as you know, metaverse like Sandbox are really interesting, but 1 month ago it was in beta test, so no more than 5,000 people. Now they are growing, but it's quite difficult to understand what is the future of the sector. Several of the players are starting to work on this field. For example, we have a startup that's called Revive. It's one of the first Italian startups vertical focused on metaverse, art, and Tech is a gaming company with more than 10 years of experience and nearly the same reputation. So we can try to make you a connection with Flavio Fiore, the CEO of the Revive, but if you search on Google, you will find all the presentation of the startup, but they already have a website and Serena Tabacchi can create a connection for the next week. So
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So, as I said before, your presentations will be shared with the community of OGR.
yeah, maybe if you can send out the PDF.
Yeah. I share with you all the documents. Okay, because there are also some annexes.
There's a longer page with all financials.
Yeah, no, there is, I mean, this is just the pitch. But there is also an executive summary and a long document.
Both of them.
Yeah, for all. This is the full, this is normally the full package, yes, that we ask at the end. Okay, now group number 2. Okay, again.
Hello, everyone. So today we're going to be pitching our business idea again. Regain is an e-waste recycling collection recycling company. How the idea came to us was we've been recently very dependent on electronics, and it's been embedded in our everyday lives. And so the use for electronics is on the rise. However, at the same time, we keep on changing our devices, and we end up with the problem that we have stacked unused devices at home. And so, looking more into this problem, we also found out that the raw material prices are also increasing for
the raw material prices for the production of electronics is on the rise. So the prices of silicon, which is one of the major components of electronics, has been on a very steep trend upwards. We also the recycling rate throughout Europe for the electronic waste in the map shows that Italy is one of the lowest countries in the EU that does the proper recycling for electronics. And if we look at the distribution centers for the collection of e-waste in Italy, we'll find that there is a disparity between the north and the south. And with most of the collection centers being focused on at the north part. And so looking at also this is related to how much the major regions in Italy are collecting, because you will find that the highest numbers per capita are mostly located in the northern part. And from that, we analyzed that the cycle for the e-waste collection was there's a gap in there. And so we performed our SWOT analysis. And from the SWOT analysis, we found out that we have one major strength, which is that we would be fulfilling the EU 2030 SDGs, and also the optimization of the current collection process for electronic waste. However, one of the weaknesses was the lack of awareness from the public regarding the availability of proper electronic waste management. The threats that we might face would be greater incentives being offered by other competitors, and further opportunities that we pinpointed where the increase in the knowledge of our business and finding additional sources for our business to increase our profits. And so basically what we came up with was the biggest gap in the collection cycle was collecting the electronic waste from the end user, from the user who has the non-used devices, and delivering it to the collection facilities. Usually, this is a very inconvenient process for the end user, because they have to either go drop it off in the collection center, which is not evenly distributed, might not be so close to where they live, but also otherwise they would have to, there isn't like a convenient way to do it. And so what we would be offering is an online platform where they can go online and they can book an appointment that fits their schedule for a pickup of their devices from home. Or we also offer collection points at the major with our partners that we would establish, who are evenly distributed because they are like the major shop chains and supermarkets and electronic places around the city, and which should be close to where you're living. And so once you do this, this would be our objective. So we would provide a convenient network of the collection of electronic waste. We would improve the recycling rates, and also we would increase the awareness of the citizens for electronic waste management. This is the process that the simplified process of what we'd be doing. It's an incentive-based system, so it's an incentive-based system to encourage the users to participate and deliver their e-waste. And also, we would be benefiting from the collected e-waste, because this is that we would resell it to the collection centers to be further processed. Further information from Roberta.
The mobile app represents the core of our business. In particular, so customers what can do. At first, they can either book directly the waste collection at their home, or either they can find the closest collection point near their house and then bring here the e-waste they want to recycle. In addition, they can provide through the mobile app further information about the e-waste that they want to collect, or they can manage rewards and so their online portfolio, and can also find additional information about the e-waste recycling in general. So the reward system, how it's organized, is split mainly in two levels. We have a greater reward for the customers who directly bring the e-waste in at the collection points. And so our customers, how are divided? There are two main kinds of customers. The one who bring the e-waste that they want to collect to the collection point, they gain the reward, and then they can spend this credit at the location where they bring the e-waste. Otherwise, there are the one who instead ask for the door-to-door service. This one gain an online credit. They manage their online portfolio, and then they can spend this credit for regional services like bill payment or public transports and for things like that. So, which are our main stakeholders? Of course, the waste owners, as we said. Then there is the municipality, of course, because till now is the first one who manage all this system. What is the gain that they will obtain through our business? They will reduce the disposal cost that till now is completely on their charge. Instead, in addition, there are the pre-processing dry facilities that so will improve the amount of e-waste collected thanks to this efficient collection process that will directly link the final customers to the recycling centers. Finally, collection partners represents the main hub of our business because through them we can really widespread our service and their personal gain is the fact that, of course, the flow of customers to their shops will increase. So, which are the main communication channels that we have in our business? Collection channels allow us to link with our customers, our final customers. These are two, and so the door-to-door collection service, as we said, and the collection point distributed in the urban centers. The distribution channel represents the root of our business, and so there is the direct delivery to the recycling companies, and this is the direct link between final customers and the recycling centers, and this happens through shipping companies and transportation. Finally, advertising channels allow us to increase knowledge and awareness about our business, and this is made through the website. We want to use the search engine optimization to increase to facilitate the customers to search information on internet on our website. Advertising posters that they can find everywhere, especially in collection points that are in dislocated everywhere. And last but not least, of course, word of mouth that covers both customer reviews and referral bonus. So like in all the main online platform that we can find now, so they get a reward if they refer a friend to use our business. So I let words, of course.
Thank you. Let's consider the economic perspective of the activity. Here is a list of the main costs and the main revenues for the activity. In particular, main costs are the incentives for the customers in the way my colleagues has already explained. Cost due to the shipping, in particular the collection from the private customers and the delivery to the facility companies will be handled by external companies, so this is a cost. And then obviously the employees, thank you. Then obviously the employee salary and the cost for locations such as, for instance, the warehouse. Revenues in the activities, obviously the incoming due to the reselling of the waste collected, and then sponsorship fundings and government incentives in order to help the activity. Here there is a sort of planning of the first years of the activities, and this is about a foreseen of the activities, but also the objective we we try to reach. In particular, the activity will start in the 2002 when the contracts with main stakeholder will be signed. And in the following year, we consider to extend the partnership with the public administration. And in the same year, in 2023, we are going to expand our the activity in the municipality close to the Turin. I forgot to say that the activity will start in Tallinn. And then from the 2024 and the following year, we are going to expand the activity in the closest region to Piedmont, in particular Liguria and Val d'Aosta. These are the person who took part to the idea and this activity. I'm Tiziano and I'm a mechanical engineer. Then there is Roberta, who's a mathematical, and Tarek, who is sustainable development. And then there are two other guys which are not present today, which are Francesco, is another mechanical engineer, and Andrea, who deal with the economical and finance part. Thank you for your attention. This is the time.
Thank you. Just a question. The topic.
Also in this case, the topic is really contemporary. It's not topic. But do you know if there are any other competitors that are trying to start a similar business, not in Italy, also maybe in other European countries, with this sort of gamification process, considering the credit, the incentive for the user?
We have analyzed a bit the competitors that we can find around. There are different realities, but mainly in Italy, what we find is that it's more like there is a website where you can book an appointment, send them the photos of you want to collect or recycle, and then they make an estimate of how much they can pay you for that, and then you have to book the service, and that's all. And so we find that, or otherwise the main recycling companies like also SETA that you can book it and so on. The difference that we want to bring with this idea is the fact that what we see is that also looking to us and to main people to which we ask about that is the fact that these reality are not so well known around common people. And also there is the fact that if you have to organize something on a company that you find online that you don't really know how they are organized, what is their references, and it's something that as they are organized till now, you don't really know if it's something you can trust on or not. And we think that this is the main gap in, this is why we say that we want to create a convenient process, because we want to try the fact that we use a collection point, for example, on the idea of DHL that has the collection point in the bookstore near us, is the fact that a common person that doesn't know to whom he is talking instead has to talk with his grocery or the bookstore or something like that, and they trust him. And especially in little reality where, okay, Turin is one reality, but then there are all the small cities that have not the same dynamic of the big cities.
Yeah, I agree for the small cities, probably it would be good.
could be useful also for more city or for territory with a low density population like Valdosta. I think that would be a really good idea. Maybe it would be also interesting to better analyze all around Europe because I think that Italy is not the country more updated on innovation on this field because Texas, that is our accelerator, global accelerator focused on the smart city. There are a lot of projects and startups that are looking on this field. To be honest, a lot of them are from outside Italy or outside Europe. So maybe just to give to have an exploration on other countries, maybe you could find other kind of company or startup that are a step forward instead of what is happening in Italy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now is the time for group number 3. Okay, group number 3.
So, good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here, listening to us. I say hello also to the party that will see us later. I'm sorry, I'm not able to stand in the front of the computer. I try not to move, so, well, just take me. Our idea starts from a problem that I had, actually, but first let me introduce my team. I'm Christian, they are Alessandro, Francesco, and we also have Arman at home that could not be here with us. So we are a lean team, as you can see. We are just 4 people. We'll be presenting in 2. So we just married the spirit of this course, I think. As I said before, our proposition started from an issue that has happened to me. It was like, I think, October when I booked a trip to Valencia. And, you know, when there are these discounts on Ryanair and you can find this really, really cheap flight. So I planned this weekend with my fiancée in Spain. Of course, I meant to do something very romantic, but of course, spending really just practically no money. And I booked this flight on the 28th of January. Do you remember what happened the 28th of January? No one? We started this course the 28th of January. And so I had the flight booked at 1:30, and we were scheduled to finish here at 12. So I asked myself, how do I have to arrive at the airport in time? And so I had to check how to go from here to Porta Susa, that is actually quite close. Then I had to check the timetable of the bus shuttle to go from here to the airport to arrive on time, of course. And then also I had to check how to go from the airport there in Valencia to the city center where I booked my hotel. And I found out that I would have spent lots of money, more money going from here to the airport and then from the airport in Valencia to my hotel. And also, for example, there is a metro station in the airport in Valencia. That's wonderful. But it's costly. It does not cost, and this happens in lots of cities that have a metro station in close to the airport. You pay way more than you would pay a normal ticket. But you know, I'm kind of a T-Rex. I don't want to spend money. I found that there is a bus also that connects the airport to the city center, and it costs a normal ticket. Of course, you spend 15 minutes more. But again, I spent lots of time looking for this. So I asked to myself, why do I have to look for all these informations in different websites using different apps? Because of course you have some apps for finding your route, but I can't say to the app, okay, I want to start from OGR. I want to go to Plaza de la Reina Hotel in Valencia. And that's it. You have to give me the fastest way, the cheapest way, of course, as I said, I don't want to spend. And so we came out with the idea of Easy Trip. So going more to speaking about my idea and not about my problems. I'm sorry if I'm using you as my personal psychologist, but again, I don't want to spend money. So here we are. EasyTrip wants to provide an integrated platform of maps and ticket purchase to facilitate and simplify as much as possible the travel organization by the user. So the user can check directly from the app the different routes to reach their destination, as I told you before, with all available means of transportations, with the possibility to buy the ticket directly from the app. And why we think this is really, really important? Because traveling is becoming always more a crucial part of our lives. There are lots of people that are constrained to travel, and I'm not thinking only to migration, that of course is a major issue in these years. I'm thinking to people that have to move for working, people that have to move for studying. We don't want to know why do you have to travel. We just want to offer you the best way possible, the way that best fits to your needs. And so the typical user of our idea of our platform will be, of course, young people, and we think more or less going from 18 to 60 years old. But again, we think that people going from 18 to 35 are more suitable for our app, as you know, they use more digital technologies. And we have identified two main streams, which are the business travelers, so people that had to move for their work, and of course, leisure travelers, as I was. Before letting the microphone to my colleague, I just present you the main stakeholders we identified. Of course, this is the traveling sector has some strong rivalry, but again, there are some big possibilities due to digital technologies improvement, to the easier way in which the world is connected nowadays. So we identify our main competitor, which is Rome to Rio, but again, we think that there is very big room for us. Then the complements that are, of course, the mobility services, because we need the mobility services for using our app. We do not provide the mobility services, we just connect them. And then the substitutes, we think that are the apps for comparing ticket prices. I'm thinking, for example, to Skyscanner, but again, there are lots of these kinds of apps, but they just compare one or two means of transportation. They do not provide an integrated platform as we want to do. Then we have the buyers that are, of course, the citizens. So we will be a B2C company. The possible entrance within that Google Maps will be a great threat to us. And the last one are suppliers. And we identified the mobility services providers, of course, an indirect supplier, which will be the fuel industry, because it can have a great impact on the costs of traveling. So we think that we have to take into consideration this industry. And lastly, the technology providers, because of course we will need a state-of-the-art platform. So we think that they will be a very, very, very important supplier for us. Thank you, and I left the mic.
Thank you. Then we analyze different peculiarities of our application. We analyze the strengths, the opportunities, but also the weaknesses and the threats. The most important strengths that we analyze for in this study are that with our app, we think that we can aggregate different means of transport. The users can use only one app to find the best solution in terms of time and cost. And also with our app, we can the users can buy directly tickets of different means of transport only using one app and not 3, 4 apps. The most important opportunities that our app can that the users can find with our app is that we can raise awareness about environment issues. That it's a problem that nowadays are always more important, and also we can increase the revenues for the new mobility companies. Our app has also weaknesses. For example, it's a difficult, a complex solution to implement, and the market is huge, but can be of difficult penetration.
And also the cost for the implementation for the initial marketing campaign are high. We also analyze the different goals of our application. Obviously, it's important for us to increase the numbers of users. For this, we think that is very important targeted social campaign, but also the app and website development, and also improve new feature in our apps in order to reach the highest number of users possible. We also think that it's important to increase the profit of our application, increasing the number of companies available in our app, and also increasing the apps percentage in the ticket sales. It's fundamental for us also to increase the user satisfaction, improving the customer service and rewarding loyal users, and also creating a users forum where users can exchange ideas on the app and also solve common problems. Fundamental for us is also the innovation, encouraging sustainable transport, and also improving the app customization. Finally, we analyzed we made a financial analysis considering the most important sources of incomes and costs, and we estimate the break-even point after 3 years and a half. This is our team. Thank you for the attention. Yeah.
Mark? It's a really interesting idea. To be honest, I have to say that on Texter, because this accelerator that I mentioned before is strictly focused on smart city and smart mobility. I've seen several startups with the same idea. And as you said, there are some tricks related to the complexity of the project. And I think also in terms of scalability, as you said, you need investment for, first of all, marketing activity, but before to implement the several options that you have to offer to the customer. The idea is really good. I think that, as in most cases, the question is execution on this. But really good, really good. Absolutely.
Thank you. Now, group number 4. Okay.
Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Stefano, and like Antonio, I'm a PhD student at the Politecnico di Torino, while Francesco and Rosalia are both students at the PhD School of Business and Management at the University of Turin. And we are all glad to be here today to introduce you to our startup idea, Noki. So what is Noki? Noki is a platform that aims to connect couriers with customers by means of smart locks embedded in lockers located inside private buildings. So our system is based on the generation and management of temporary passcodes that will allow the courier to open the smart lock, complete the delivery, and all of this without the need for any user intervention. So the user will, of course, be notified by the completed delivery and of any other activity associated with the smart lock. But the idea is that the customer will be able to just relax and enjoy his work and leisure activities, knowing that thanks to Noki, he will never miss a delivery again. So the potential benefit for the final user is self-evident. But what about delivery companies?
Well, with the constant increase in the volume of users turning to e-commerce and online shopping, managing deliveries on time is becoming more and more complex. And it is both an economic and environmental concern. So now, let's imagine you work on this business field, and thanks to Loki, you now have the possibility to always complete your delivery at first time. And since there is no user involvement, you now have the possibility to the freedom to deliver your to make your delivery at any time, even at night if you want. So thus saving fuel, avoiding city traffic, and decreasing your environmental impact. And so these are just a few of interesting aspects associated with this idea, but it will be addressed in more detail by my colleagues. So now I will leave the floor to Rosalia.
Thank you. So, in summary, Loki deals with a twofold set of users. On the one side, the private customer who already make use of this service, e-commerce service, and that live in urban agglomeration. And the other side, the other segment of users are represented by couriers, by independent e-commerce delivery service. Thanks to Loki, both final user and e-commerce service couriers can manage efficiently all their time. So this is the value chain in which Loki acts, and it is populated by different partners and users. One of the most important action with highly priority level is the network involvement. So for this reason, Loki is committed to enhance B2B and B2C engagement by create an integrated platform. About partner, the key partners are dealers, local store who will provide end user with our product, or another type of partners are represented by furniture producer and do-it-yourself retailers who can directly integrate Loki in their products.
So we've tried to embody this kind of relations into different kind of personas. For example, we have Carlo. Carlo is a manager at Amazon region cities. He can improve the firm's delivery services thanks to Loki. And also we have Emma. Emma is a math teacher that have a lot of free time available in outdoor activities thanks to Loki. And the last but not the least, we have also Marco. Marco is a do-it-yourself shop owner in Parma that increased the revenue of his activities thanks to Loki. So we have tried to embody this kind of relations and this kind of personas and see the value ring. For example, we have for the final customer possibility to reduce the stress related to delivery services thanks to Loki, and the 24 hours window that users can have thanks to this kind of technologies, as well as the couriers and the delivery services. This kind of business customers can be helped by Loki technologies to reduce the cost of processing of warehouse thanks to the reduction of the percent of non-delivered packages. And we have also the value for the do-it-yourself stores and log supplier, our business partners, that they can have customer revenues as well as competitive advantage thanks to innovative technologies for the market and a lot of services that they can provide thanks to Loki.
And As a conclusive remark, we would like to provide a brief overview of what the more relevant sources of costs are, and then the risks, the potential risks and barriers that we might need to tackle are taken into consideration. So, to begin with, among the most important sources of costs that our company needs to bear in order to make its business model work, for sure, there are the ones related to the initial development and continuous maintenance of the web platform. Then, as tangible assets, we may list headquarters and the human resources. Above all, the sales accountant and the assistance team. Clearly, these three items can be grouped under the category of fixed costs. Instead, for what variable ones are concerned, we may enumerate suppliers, sales relations, and marketing-related costs. For what risks and blockers are concerned, we have identified the four main obstacles to the diffusion of Noki. First of all, as my colleagues have already mentioned, the company is strictly dependent on networking. Thus, a possible lack of both partners and customers to be engaged with may be crucial and a very important problem to deal with. And this is strictly linked to the second item displayed in this list, that is the possibility of slowly entering into the market flow and thus not becoming as competitive as we wish to be. And then the last two factors are more related to technological aspects. In fact, the development of the platform itself may encounter several issues. And finally, from another point of view, the production of an object such as our smart key lock we talked about, that is based on a standard product and that in turn needs to be modified according to our specific needs, is going to represent another issue to be compliant with. So how can we work around all these problems? The idea is to create a continuous and stimulating interaction with all our partners and customers, perhaps also with dedicated and personalized communication channels in order to reinforce their loyalty to our services and work together to fix all the problems we've talked about. So this was my last remark. We thank you all for your kind attention, and we are open to any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you.
I really appreciated your idea. I was speaking with the Fairpoly, and I don't know if there are other competitors that are so focused as your idea on the specific hardware, but not only considering a big player like Amazon, but also B2B2C opportunity could be really interesting. Or also, as Guido said, interaction between C2C, for example, people that need to sell some product to other private people, use a product, for example. On this way, they don't need to have an appointment and a physical meeting. It's really critical, you said, the first step, because you have to reach a critical mass, at least in a specific area, it should be well known. But I really appreciate it. Really good idea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now group number 5, just a question, group number 6, okay, because I haven't seen your material on the elaborati. Okay. Okay.
Good morning, everyone.
First, let me introduce myself and my team. We are Michele, Filippo, Alessandro, and Daniele. Today we present our business idea, Newton, our now user tomorrow. As we can see from the graph, in this year there was a substantial increase of cryptocurrency users. In 2016, they were only 5 million. In 2021, they become 166 million. In just 6 months, from January 2021 to June. To June 2021, they drove more than 100%. And in the second graph, we can see that the retail clients are the majority in all the 5 continents. And in Europe, they are 63%, and while institutional clients are 50%. The business idea came from the need to predict the variation of cryptocurrency, that is a new market with high volatility. And Newton offer a prediction trend service cryptocurrency and allow to the users to make a profit. And the subscriber will receive on their app device notification connected to the platform. Newton uses an algorithm developed and updatable through the neural network that allow to predict the cryptocurrency variation. I leave the floor to Filippo.
Thank you, Michele, and good morning, everyone. My name is Filippo, and I'm going to enter more in details on what is the founding idea of Newton, neural networks. As you can see in the slide, Newton is a service based on neural networks that are simply a kind of AI algorithm. They are already used in several fields of research, and the novelty of Newton is trying to use this kind of algorithms in order to predict the cryptocurrency values. As a matter of fact, what we did was to develop this algorithm, which you see an example on the right side of the slide. And in particular, it has to be highlighted that we have 2 main phases using neural networks, the training and the testing one. In particular, in these cases, we retrieve data for the most famous crypto value, the Bitcoin, for 24 days of the same. And then we tried to predict with our algorithm that is already existing, because I programmed it, the following day. And essentially, as you can see, there are already good results because we obtained good precision with an almost immediate response. And moreover, through specific scripts, we have also an updatable model. That this is a very important characteristic because it allows us to answer well to the various requests that our users can make us. At this point, we have to define the users, and in particular, or in a more general way, our targets. Let's be honest, this is a very, very general slide, and for more details, you can simply open the full document or the executive summary that we gave to you, because here you can find attached the documents like the business model canvas, the value proposition ring, and something like that. You see instruments also like the SWVOT in the following part of the presentation. But now, let's just say that our targets are in the 18-60 range of age, because in our mind, anybody can use our app, and then we can also develop some partnerships with training companies. But for more details, I remind you and I recommend you for the full document. Now, before I leave the floor to Daniele, we have to notice that we briefly presented the targets of our idea, but now we have also to analyze and detect the actors and the environment in which Newton tries to operate. And now, Daniele, the floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you, Filippo. So, as we saw, users are a really important part for our company, but to better understand the environment, we analyzed other actors with the business social network. And so, as we can see, we have also suppliers and providers that they can provide us with new technologies and also human resources, or also cooperate with us. Then another important actor is for sure are the public institutions, because in the next year they can change the rule of the game with the new regulation and norms. On the other hand, we have also for sure competitors, because maybe other companies are developing a similar idea, and there are also other platforms and both in the market. We have also partnerships with institutions, universities, or private companies that can cooperate with us with several projects. To analyze our company, we used several tools. One of them is SWOT analysis, and I leave the floor to Alessandro.
Thank you, Daniele. I'm Alessandro. Good night, everyone. So I describe SWOT analysis. It outlines the internal factors, strengths and weakness, and external factors, opportunities and threats. Strengths. Neural network will be affected constantly. It will give a reliable service with a great adaptability, and we will easily find data history about cryptocurrency using a specific algorithm or in partnership with the trading company. Weaknesses. Trend time. It's very long to have a good performance of the neural network. The black box relation used by neural network are not known, and to have a good performance, network needs a specific knowledge. Opportunities, market growth. Crypto.com say by the end of this year, in the world will be 1 billion of users in cryptocurrency. Now they are about 300 million. And new societies, public institutions are starting to accept payment through cryptocurrency. Rents, market unpredictability, the price of cryptocurrency are changing every hour, every minute. And this is a profit market, so many companies can be attracted. As voice, new laws, regulation is opportunity because law can lower the risk, and this can attract new users. But at the same time, law can increase taxes and reduce profit for the user. After the presentation, regarding the given point. It obtained at the beginning of the fourth year, 13th trimester. Revenues and costs are hypothetic after a specific research. Revenues are the minimum sum of premium subscriptions of the users and the minimum sum of slot advertisement on application website. Costs are the sum of investment and operating costs, such as salary, training, consulting, and continued development of the neural network. We followed the accounting prudence, principle prudence. So, hypothetic loss is better than effective revenues, profit, sorry. In any case, potential revenues worth the risk. In conclusion, we offer a reliable service. This market, comparison market is full of risk, and Newton needs many money to cover initial cost. The goal is to keep improving, both from the artificial intelligence and the managerial aspect, to offer
a service more and more perfect to the users. Thank you.
Just a question, because probably it's my fault I missed the point. But your revenue model, you propose just an app that is a sort of service for prediction of cryptocurrency, or the people could invest through this app? This is the first one. Is it part? Okay. I understand. I don't know, because there are, as you said, there are a lot of potential competitors, but just to give you an example, there is a team inside of Geotech, there is a team from mainly gaming company. They are working during the weekend. They started 2 months ago, and in 10 days they will launch on the market, and after that they manage during the Sunday. And this app is really similar in terms of analysis and prediction model, but they implement also the possibility to invest through this app. And when they will reach, if they will reach 10 million euro invested on this app, the accuracy could be almost 97%. So a suggestion, in my opinion, could be also think on this way, because if I understand, your revenue model is to be paid to offer prediction of the market.
Exactly.
So your service is a B2B services for financial organization and something similar, or also private investor. I think that private small investor, like a citizen, I don't know if could be useful to have in the same app the prediction and the possibility to invest or not. No answer, but what do you think about it?
What I think about it is that in our idea, what we want to do is essentially to how can I say it? And to propose to the user the possibility essentially to have a minor risk in investing in crypto value. Because at the moment, as you think well know, the market is really unpredictable. So having something that is able, because the graph that you saw was based on a small sample of data, because yeah, 24 days, so it's really a small sample of data, and the prediction time was very ambitious, because we show a prediction for 1 day. Probably to show a better accuracy, we just needed, for example, to reduce the time of the prediction. And but the main purpose of that graphic, of the presentation, was to just show you that even if the prediction is not so, it's a good prediction because it follows the trend. Obviously, it does not follow the spikes because the trend is really on a small sample. And then, but the big thing is that the trending is following what is the real trending of the today. And so our idea is to differentiate the offer to the user. For example, we can have the first idea was to offer the service freely, but maybe stipulating some contracts with companies, for example, in order to have some banners on our service. And that's, for example, if you are a free user. If, for example, you are disposed to invest on our app, and that basically works means you are disposed, are able to just pay us, I think, 4 or 9 euros, because it depends, because we thought of normal offer, but better than the free one, and a premium offer. And it depends from how many times, let's say, we update the prediction, because through the script that I told you before, the training part is really time consuming. But once you do that, the real novelty of this kind of algorithm is that in order to update it, you don't need to redo the training part with new data. You just essentially update them through a specific MATLAB function, because that was developed in the MATLAB simulating environment, and that is it. That's the kind of update of the neural network really follows the real trending of the data. If you want, I can show you the graph. We did not put it in the presentation for briefly reasons, and because you see how many times I'm taking just to answer your question. Thank you. Thank you.
Differenziamo dal concorrente per il fatto che siamo voluti spostarci sulla predizione, perché per non andare sui competitor come Crypto.com, che ora sono, diciamo, competitor ormai troppo avviati per potersi confrontare con loro, ma potrebbero diventare offrire il nostro servizio
la mette esattamente.
Io perché adesso sto riconfermando velocissimo, per fatto che queste ragazze hanno fatto, sì, avranno fatto qualche minuto. Secondo me l'elemento vincente per loro è, a parte la possibilità di investire attraverso questa piattaforma, è una maggiore garanzia, soprattutto per un investitore piccolo, privato, non penso alla grande finanziaria che probabilmente altri il vantaggio è che io investo qualcosa, se raggiungono una certa massa critica di investimenti tramite quella piattaforma, riescono a compensare quelle che sono le variazioni dando un'altissima probabilità di guadagnare.
Quello sicuramente qualcosa in più.
Unisce le due cose, facendo il giocatore guarda le predizioni e dall'altra parte prova a investire.
Certo. No, è interessante, è bell'idea.
Thank you. Now is the time of group number 6.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. My name is Raquel Antonitani, and I'm here with my colleague Francesco Martielli, Riccardo Tuninato, and Jonathan Melchiorre. Okay. Thank you, sorry. So we are a team of 4, with 2 having an expertise in business and management and 2 having expertise in engineering. In particular, Riccardo is an expertise in telecommunication, while Jonathan is an expert in artificial intelligence with background and expertise in civil engineering. So today I'm going to present to you Smart In. What's Smart In? Smart In is a company that, thanks to its cutting-edge technology in artificial intelligence and neural network, will actually revolutionize at least the monitoring activities of public infrastructures. So, given the specific context and the mission of our company, we believe that our customer actually is a niche market, active in the B2B sector, so business-to-business sector, but my colleague will provide you with a little bit more information on that. The point is that, and the thing that I wanted to highlight at this time, why Smart In and why right now? So we feel like there is a very positive momentum at this point in the monitoring and inspection activities of the bridges, given and driven by 4 potential factors. First, political background, especially in the aftermath of the Morandi collapse in 2018, there has been a revised legislation on the inspection and monitoring activity. Besides, a massive amount of public funding has been made available, but not just on the Italian background, not the Italian ground, but also at the European level. So this is the second factor, where also the new funding that has been made available after the outbreak of the COVID pandemic has also allowed us to potentially access massive amount of funds. Third, I would say that there is also a social sensitivity to this topic, to the safety topic. With the COVID pandemic, many people actually have started to use cars again. So right now, motorways and railways are full of people using the car because they feel a little bit safer there. And finally, the technology. We feel that where is right now the artificial intelligence and the neural network development is a very right moment, let's say, to develop a proper software. Given this very brief perspective on the context on why, allow me to hand out at this point the speech to my colleague Francesco Martielli that will provide you more background on who are our customers.
Thank you, Rachele. Good morning, everyone. Okay, my focus is on our potential customer, in particular, not team potential customer, and the final customer of our startup is the final users of the roads and the railways. So we use the public infrastructure for travel for any needs. So the way to satisfy our final customers is driven by our direct customers, such as monitoring companies and infrastructure, public infrastructure management companies. Okay, so what we want to do is to help them to manage the data and also the monitoring of the public infrastructure. And they can potentially benefit from our work, and especially for our information and our processed and produced information through our technology. So the particular companies, customers companies are ANAS and Ferrovie dello Stato for the first startup stage. And after we expected to open our market in other countries, also to other public infrastructures and not only bridges or streets. So we also are thinking about a collaboration with region for just spin-off, university spin-off or others. And finally, our special issue is the data collecting, so a new, different and type model to collect the data, most accurate, fast, and cheaper. So my colleague Ricardo could improve the value for our customers.
Thank you, Francesco. So first of all, we had to identify the main problems that our customers has to face every day, and we call them their pains. So our customer needs data from the infrastructure, and this data sometimes has not a single and uniformized standard. So they need to have a clear data on working on it. And this data is also often very costly because they must rely on specialized engineers that must be sent on the field, and so it takes a lot of time. So in order to overcome these problems, we define our gains for our customers. So we want to provide them with an automated algorithm based on artificial intelligence that from the data can give a classification of the risk of the infrastructure failure. But in this way, we can start by dropping their costs for the inspection of the actual specialized engineer. But then we want also to provide a system that can permit to improve the frequency of the inspection by using some automated system that Jonathan will explain better to you.
And so this also could provide the companies with a better image among the public by permitting a sort of advertisement of this new system that can feel the people more safe while using these infrastructures. So we define our main milestones that we want to achieve in order to provide this system. So first of all, we will rely on the already collected data from other companies. So we must take this data, work on it, because as I said before, it will be not very uniform. There is not a single standard. And once this data is clear, and once this data is clear, we can provide it to a neural network in order to train it and to classify the risk of an infrastructure failure. Actually, as you can imagine, the main part here is to have good data, because a neural network can be as complex as you want, but if the data is not good, you can't do anything with the neural network. And at the end, we want to complete our system to provide new data to our neural network, also to improve the accuracy, but not relying on the other companies, but providing our self-system in order to do that. And I leave the floor to Jonathan, that will give you more details on it.
Good morning. I will speak about our risk analysis and how we hope to manage them, the risks for our company. The first risk is related to the initial demanding of investment, and in particular, the great part of the funding that we require are related to the acquisition of the data. In order to manage it, we thought about to contact companies that are specifically on this field, and in particular engineering companies that acquire data by sending engineers under the bridge and classifying the damaging that is on the bridge itself. So these data are already available in such way, and in particular they are already paid, because these data are sold to the companies such as Ferrovie dello Stato and ANAS, and so we are making a rebuying, and so we expect to have a discount on them. Another risk is could be the management of the data, and of course the training of the neural networks, because after the initial investment, we can find that our algorithm won't be able to manage the data, and this is a great risk. But we are quite sure that we can deal with this problem, because in particular we know that we can use convolutional neural networks for the detecting of images, and in particular of the damage on the bridges. So using the convolutional neural network trained on the already acquired data, we expect to make a prediction model on that using the data acquired by our system can say to the companies if the bridge is safety or not. The last risk that we analyze is the strong dependence on a few customers, because in particular we want to work and we want to contact ANAS and Ferrovie dello Stato, that are just companies. But since the same problem that we have in Italy are worldwide spread in all the highway and railways, we think that our model can be applied also in the other countries without making too much changes. And our goal is to develop a system that is based on two different phases: the acquisition of the data and the risk classification. Regarding the acquisition of the data, we think that we can have we can acquire them using drones that are not of course, we have the UAV drones that are the flying drones that everyone knows, but even the drones that can go directly on the infrastructure, and but this could be expensive. So we have an alternative that is to make the customers to give us the data. And in particular, for example, for railways, we can install a camera on each train that go on the railway, so we can monitor all the bridges that are on this railway. We expect to monitor each bridge every 10 minutes, for example. So we have that at the moment we have that engineers go then and acquire data with every 2 years, 2 years. It depends on the legislation, and we want to improve this system by making an acquisition that is continuously in time that is very I don't know frequent. Okay. And regarding highways, we can speak with the assurance companies because we know that there are discounts on assurance policies when they install cameras on the cars, and so we can use these cameras to acquire data even on highways. And so this is our final goal, and I would like to thank you for your attention.
Thank you. It was quite interesting. I have a few questions because I worked for 1 year and a half in a project with RFI dealing with predictive maintenance. So I know a bit about the word that you're talking about. The point is, one, the difference between your solution and the solution that RFI already has in order to have predictive models on their assets, in the sense that the acquisition of data is a bit different from the one that you were talking about, in the sense that Frecciarossa trains, for example, have installed cameras who collect data, visual data of the environment of the train. So they can already have, and they have some, models of predictive maintenance of the environment of the train. And also the collection of the geometrical data of the railway infrastructure. So there are other models. So why yours is different, one? And second, how can you acquire data from drones, for example, not going near the place where there is the bridge or the specific asset you want to monitor? These are the two.
The specific topic is when we want to acquire data on the infrastructure that are outside the railways, so the bridges that we are going to pass through with the train. And the difference, in my opinion, is that if we have data that are in such a way targeted by the engineers, we can make our neural networks to predict data, but not only make on the prediction, but the first part will be on the monitoring. So if we arise a new, I don't know, crack in the bridge, just seeing that the images acquired by the cameras, our neural network will give a signal on time to Ferrovie dello Stato, for example, and so they can make the intervention very fast. And this will make our system will make this intervention in this from the arise of the crack to the intervention. We will have something like hours, not days, not months.
I give you another example. The RFI already has some internal procedures of different types of risk, let's say. So there is the A1 system, A2 system, and so they have a classification of the intervention. Or they already have predictive algorithms that are that go in the same direction of yours. So, okay, the train passes, acquire data, the predictive models say, okay, perfect. In this section, there is the possibility of 95% of an A1 fault. Go and do the maintenance.
Okay, why it's different? What this data you are referring about are data regarding the images acquired by the trains, or data regarding the, for example, oscillation of the both. Okay.
Both of them.
And this is this kind of data are related to the specific track. So, for example, regarding using the images acquired on the train, you can I don't know, identify as a new crack on the bridge just looking at the image. This is, in my opinion, the difference, because we are making a detection on the images to identify the specific crack, and so we will give a specific monitoring and solution to the stuff. I think I answered.
Other questions? No? Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Possiamo? Possiamo farci una foto?
Sì, l'ho fatto anch'io. Anch'io. La prima volta.
Anche con lei, però.
No, adesso ci facciamo le foto. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, and thank to you and also our guests for being here. So as you know, okay, this is the end of the course, but this is not the end of the journey. Probably, and I hope this will be the start of the journey for some, if not all of you. As I said, your presentations, including the videos, will be shared with the OGR community in the next days. So there is a probability, let's put it this way, that someone will contact you in a while to discuss about, I mean, your solutions, your ideas, and eventually for collaborations. So this is a little bit the idea here. Unfortunately, due to the COVID-19 disease emergency, it was not easy to start the collaboration before as we planned. We hope to do that in the near future. But I think that this is the right direction. So to mix here innovation, young people, the university, and the companies all together. So I'm quite happy also to see so many people, and it's nice to see that every year we have a bunch of, let's say, 50 people in that course, which means that there is still a hope for our economy. Thank you.
Yeah.